If you're new to dispatching or working with a carrier who's just starting out, there's a good chance you're working with a dry van trailer. And there's a good reason for that. Dry van is the most versatile, most widely available freight type in the country. It is the backbone of American trucking. A dry van is an enclosed, temperature uncontrolled trailer, typically 48 or 53 feet long. It carries general freight that doesn't need refrigeration, retail goods, packaged foods, electronics, clothing, automotive parts, paper products, furniture, building materials, and thousands of other commodities. Because the shipper universe is enormous, there's almost always freight available somewhere for a dry van carrier. For dispatchers, dry van means flexibility, and flexibility is your friend when you're building a book of lanes for a carrier. Here's the dispatching strategy for dry van. Your primary goal is to minimize deadhead miles. Deadhead, empty miles from delivery location to the next pickup, eats into earnings without generating revenue. Every loaded mile earns money. Every empty mile costs money. Your job is to build a load sequence that keeps the truck loaded as much as possible. That means when you book a load, you're already thinking about the backhaul. If your carrier is going from Chicago to Atlanta, you're searching for a return load, Atlanta to Chicago, or Atlanta to a nearby market before your carrier even leaves Chicago. The best dispatchers have the backhaul identified before the outbound load picks up. That level of planning is what eliminates multiple days of empty miles. The best lanes for dry van freight are high-density freight corridors: Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Memphis, Columbus, Indianapolis. These markets have consistent freight in both directions, which makes it easier to keep a carrier loaded. If your carrier is based in a smaller market or a low freight corridor, part of your job is getting them positioned into a better market when the opportunity makes sense economically. Regarding equipment specs, know your carrier's trailer length and their weight to volume ratio. A 53-foot dry van can legally haul up to roughly 45,000 to 47,000 pounds of freight at 80,000 gross. Some freight is heavy and dense: steel parts, flooring, beverages. Some is light and voluminous: mattresses, furniture, cereals. Know which your carrier prefers, because light and bulky freight fills the trailer by cubic feet before hitting the weight limit, which can be great for certain carriers and difficult for others. Commodity knowledge matters too. Some dry van commodities require no-touch handling, meaning the driver isn't expected to unload, while others require live unload where the driver participates. Your carrier may have strong preferences here. Know them and filter accordingly. Rate per mile in dry van tends to be lower than in reefer or flatbed because the barrier to entry is lower. More carriers run dry van, so there's more competition for freight. That's not a reason to avoid dry van. It's a reason to be sharper on negotiation, route efficiency, and deadhead reduction than your competition. A dry van carrier who consistently runs at $2.30 per mile with low deadhead is out-earning a reefer carrier who's running at $2.70 but deadheading 300 miles between loads. The math is always total revenue per week divided by total miles driven that week. That's your real rate. Keep that number in mind and optimize toward it. Dry van is where most dispatchers start and where many build their entire business. It's not the highest paying per mile, but it's consistent, it's available everywhere, and a dispatcher who can keep a dry van carrier's truck full 5 days a week is a dispatcher with a long career ahead of them.